So welcome back to the Networking A to Z, and this time we're going to look at your networking Bs. If you saw the last video when we looked at networking A's, I mentioned a phrase used by a friend of mine, Nigel Risner, and that is be in the room. And this is absolutely key. It doesn't matter if you're at a networking event or if you're having a coffee with someone in your network, you need to be in the room, you need to be in the space they're in, you need to be giving them, as I said in the last video, your attention. Don't worry about who else you can talk to, don't worry about where your next meeting is, don't worry if Downton Abbey is coming on the television soon. Be in the room for them, focus on them and only them in that point. If I was asked for any one single word that defines the secret of successful networking, it's relationships. And building relationships should lie at the core of any networking strategy. The networking events that you go to, the conferences, the networking sites like LinkedIn that you might join, their best purpose is to help you build relationships. There's other things you can do there's other things you can do online, but they're all about building relationships. The magic happens once that relationship has reached a deep level. So find people you like, find people you have something in common with, find people with whom you have rapport, who you'd want to see more, who you could see yourself building a strong relationship with over time. Invest in that relationship and don't worry too much about how they can help you. Just know that you're building a relationship where you'd be happy to help them, and if you need it, they'd be happy to help you at the right time. For all the nice talk about building relationships, you still need to be looking to benefit from your networking activity. If you're not, then why are you investing time and effort into it? We'll talk more about that later in the A to Z of networking, but don't forget as well, look first from a position of how can you benefit your network? How can they benefit from your presence rather than just what you can take? There are no prizes for who gives away the most business cards or who collects the most business cards. The people that win out of that activity are printers of business cards. Business cards for me are a sign of intent. They're a sign that we're going to follow up, we're going to build a relationship from here. They're a signal that this conversation will continue. So use them in that sense. Don't rush to give people your business cards when you first meet them. Don't ask them just out of courtesy. Ask for a card if you truly want it. Accept it if it's offered. And if someone asks for your card, be happy to give it to them. But networking isn't about that exchange. Networking is what you do as a result of the information you get on that card and the relationship you build from it. Respect other people's boundaries. You know, whether that's their personal space when you're talking to them at a networking event, whether it's their willingness to refer someone they've only just met or support someone they've only just met, whether they're uncomfortable talking to family members about business. Everyone has their own boundaries. The more you get to know people, the more you understand what they're comfortable with and operate within that space, because if you do that, they'll find it so much easier to help and support you. Networking is as much about introducing business contacts to each other and being just the person who makes the connections as it is just asking for help directly yourself. The more that you make those connections, the more of a broker you become, the more you attract people because you're a valuable person to know. In the first video, A is for, I talked about authenticity, and that links into believability. If you're open in the way that you interact with people, if you're honest with them, if they really get a feel that you're transparent, then they'll believe you. And the more they believe you, the more comfortable they are in talking about you to other people, saying the right things and making the right connections. So that authenticity is key because it makes you believable. So those were your networking Bs, and thank you to everyone who submitted ideas for that. Coming soon will be the video for networking Cs, and if you missed the first video, A is for, then just look elsewhere on this channel, it will be there for you, and make sure you're up to date with your A to Z.